Hi. Seems like it's been a while since I've seen you last. It was my birthday last week, and I told you guys at the beginning of the year that I wasn't going to make a video on my birthday. So I didn't. So, as a pastor, I get asked a lot of questions. A lot of questions about life, questions about death. But the number one question I always get asked is, what made you want to become a pastor? And you know, that's always really a complicated question to answer. My general response is usually that I was called to do this job. But I found out that most people don't understand exactly what it means to be called. It doesn't necessarily mean the church called me up and said, "Hey, guy, we want you to be our pastor." Well, okay, maybe a little bit. But when I say that I was called to become a pastor, I mean that I was called by God. Now, a lot of people have a lot of different views about exactly what that means. So I'm going to tell you my story and tell you exactly how my calling came about. I was teaching Sunday school at the church, and my wife was the first person that really made any kind of inclination that I should pursue a career in ministry. I thought she was crazy. Pretty soon, I had taken a new job, and I was very content with the job that I was doing, until one day, out of the blue, somebody walked in the store and asked for me. This kind lady walks up to me and she says, "Our church is looking for a youth minister, and your name came up. And we were wondering if you would consider becoming our youth minister." I was completely taken aback because I had not submitted my name to any church for a youth ministry position. I had not even let anyone know about my wife's crazy idea that I could possibly serve as a minister in any sort of way. I politely told the lady that I appreciated her asking, but that I was not called to do such a thing. I did not feel compelled to be a youth minister. I did not feel the urging. I had not been vocally told by God to become a minister, and so I didn't. That same week, another person came in our store and asked me the same question, but they were from a different church. 2 churches, 2 days. The next week, I got a phone call from another church. This church wanted me to be their music minister. I was completely astounded. Then, later on that second week, another church. See, it turns out people were noticing something in me that I wasn't even noticing in myself. I was trying to lead a faithful life serving God and trying to do the work that He wanted me to do. I know it was going to lead to ministry. And frankly, ministry scared me to death. And I didn't want to do it. Primarily because to be a minister, you have to be responsible. You have to teach people what the scriptures say, which means you have to understand what the scriptures say. And frankly, I had trouble with that. So fast forward to the summer. My wife and I used to annually go to a 3-day concert in Atlanta. A lot of different Christian artists and speakers and different things like that. And this particular year we went, it was awful. We hated it. It was terrible. I was so unbelievably uncomfortable the entire time that we were at these concerts. And I didn't really know why. Well, on the last day of the concert, there was a band playing that my wife wanted to see. And so she didn't want to leave early. I wasn't overly enthused about seeing the band that my wife wanted to see. But I stuck it out because I'm a good husband. So we're sitting there, and the lead singer of the band that my wife wanted to see play begins to speak about one of the songs that he wrote. He begins to talk about some of the struggles that he faced in his early life concerning his faith. He felt like he was the one person God could never use to do a specific job. Kind of like me. Then he proceeded to talk about how he got to a certain point in his life where God basically said, "You had no more excuses why you can't serve me, why you can't do what you know you're supposed to do." And I'm not going to say that I heard an audible voice from God. It was pretty clear the message that was trying to come across to me. People were recognizing God working in my life, even when I wasn't. And I was too hard-headed to believe that God could really do anything significant in my life. And as we're there, amidst these 10,000 people roughly, I knew at that moment I no longer had any excuses as to why I couldn't pursue the ministry that God was obviously working through me. And so from that point forward, I jumped headlong into the ministry. I honestly had no idea what I was doing. And frankly, it's taken me a long time to learn how to be a good minister and what it means to be called to do my job. I've been in ministry now for 7 years, and God is constantly redefining in my mind what ministry is supposed to look like. He's always helping me to see where I need to improve, what I need to change. And so, though I've been at this for 7 years, I feel like I'm still growing a lot. I hope this video hasn't bored you too much today. I'll see you guys next week.